So basically, long story short, in Asheville, in the Asheville area, which is the mountain region here in North Carolina, there's a high concentration of parents who are choosing not to get their kids vaccinated. And in that specific region where that's the case, where it's saturated with people who are not getting their children vaccinated, they're seeing one of the worst outbreaks of chickenpox within that area. Now, to me, just looking at things objectively, and I'm sure that if you broke it down, you would find at a more alarming rate than this lays out. But this clearly shows that there are ramifications for not getting your children vaccinated, and this is in a small town on a small level, a small scale. If this was to be amplified in a larger city like New York or LA, the ramifications would be, it would just be bad, I think. To the point where it would cause some sort of alarming epidemic, I think. And I think people should learn and look at things like this and take something away from it. And that's that if you don't vaccinate your children, not only will your children be affected, but you're also endangering the kids that they're around as well. And it's just going to, what do you think about the whole anti-vax movement? And what do you see in that community?
Well, again, it's fairly big over here. And I think, was it 4 or 5 years ago, we actually had a bit of a measles epidemic. And Teesside, where I'm from, was a node where we actually had a fair few cases. I've argued with people going down the pub who don't want to get their kids vaccinated, and I've talked through the papers, and they just didn't want to know, the people who I was talking to, and it came across as they rather not take the risk of getting their child vaccinated. They don't see any problems with not getting them vaccinated. They've never really seen measles, mumps, rubella, polio, smallpox. They've never seen these things. So that kind of risk doesn't exist to them. But the risk of autism or a negative effect of being vaccinated is there, because it's in the media, they see on Facebook. Or, I saw the other day, there was a post by Larry Cook, who is another twat, who said that getting all your vaccines as a child is like a tornado, hurricane, and something all mixed together, but worse, which makes no sense. And I'm not sure how you can even compare the two. But these parents are exposed to it all the time. So the idea that, there is the idea, I think it all really comes down to, you have to physically do something to get your kids vaccinated, and putting a risk on there that they may not see. And it's a hard one to get over to parents, because you can't say that, oh, you just don't care about your child's health, because obviously they do. They want the best for them. They've just been convinced by charlatans and quacks that vaccines are the worst thing since Hitler. And it is really serious. Again, like the people measure these things in death rates, which I don't think you really should do now in 2018. You should try and, although it'd be very difficult to do, measure it on how many negative effects people would have. Yeah, okay, we had a bit of an outbreak in measles here in the UK 4 years ago, and we had one person that died. So it was only one person. But how many people lost a child who had a child aborted? How many people now are sterile? How many people have problems with their brain? How many of these people? Yeah. And it'd be a large number. And I think people don't seem to register that. They just see things, we only had one death, but how many people did we say from becoming or from whatever?
Right. And you said that I think you brought up a really good point when you're talking about the conversation that you have down at the pub, where these parents, they've never had to deal with these diseases, so it doesn't make sense to them. And the reason they haven't dealt with these diseases is because they were vaccinated. Those vaccines prevented them from actually having to experience those. So in a way, that proves their entire point right there. There's a reason why, you can go back several decades, and where these things were actually killing people, where prior to vaccinations and that sort of thing, these diseases were taking people out by the millions. In the what year was it, Steve, that a third of the population died out from the flu? I can't remember what the year was.
Well, the Spanish
It's
flu, or which
19
one?
Spanish
There's
flu?
a whole bunch of different.
It was like
There's been a lot of flu
1918, I
epidemics.
think. Yeah,
And there's been a lot
can't
of
remember the
polio
one, but
outbreaks. My uncle died of polio back in the 50s or 60s. I don't remember exactly, but back then polio was a big scare. I mean, he had the whole, the thing you walk with, the whole 9 yards. People put in iron lungs. It was an epidemic back then. But then Salk invented the polio vaccine, and you could literally watch it go just non-existent.
right. So, I mean,
It's the problem. The problem is it's a hard one to get over to parents because, again, it comes down to a lot of people who do talk about like the pros of vaccines. Most people talk about the pros of vaccines, but they can be quite aggressive towards these parents who don't. Rightly so, I think, to these parents who don't get their kids vaccinated. But that, as soon as you do that, they'll put up a wall and they won't listen to anything you have to say. And it's a tightrope. And I don't envy GPs or doctors at the moment because they are having to face this. Yeah, sorry, I don't have the answer for this one again. I'm a terrible ghost.
Yeah, no, you've been fantastic. This has been great. Like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here. I think you proved tonight why people like yourself are necessary and important, because being able to
stop it now.
seriously, being able to have somebody that may be on, this is one of the people that I really looked up to even before I started doing YouTube. I mean, I like the people that are able. To me, when you do these shows or when you do videos, you're not speaking to the person that the subject of the video is, and I think a lot of people get that mistaken. They think that when people do videos or when they host debates that it's between those two people, or it's centered on the person that is the focus of your video, but it's not. You're trying to hit the people that are on the fence or on the other side of that argument. You're using them as a vessel, and it takes, I think, somebody that is creative and able to convey ideas or arguments in a way that everybody can understand, that really makes that connection. And people like you, and stated clearly, I think in the science educator world, that's what I would put it under, are brilliant at that. I mean, you just have a way of taking these concepts and making them simple, and that's what people need, especially with that study of millennials now resorting to things like pseudoscience. People need those other, the other side out there, and in a way that they can grasp and really see where what they're looking into is just wrong and dangerous.
Oh, thanks, man. That's really nice of you to say. Because I don't hear that kind of often. Because most of the time, I look through my comment section, it's just like "shut up, faggot" or like, "go die." So,
you're in good company. You're in good company. You're in good company. I actually, the biggest burn that, and whoever this guy is, like, he's a legend, but the biggest burn that we've gotten is, your channel sucks so bad, I'm going to subscribe just so I can unsubscribe.
Which they did the first time now. It's like an everyday thing. They subscribe and they'll unsubscribe.
Steve, you want to, we got any super chats? And we'll get those questions out of the way, and then we'll wrap up.
Yep, we got a couple, but I should tell people that alcohol is natural, so go for it. And non-sequitur, we're natural as well, so we're good for you. Here we go. Stephen Powellman, $5. Didn't the FDA tell her to knock off the colonoscopy juice claims? Yes, but she doesn't listen. She's still peddling it. So had a message deleted.
FTC, I think.
It was mainly about where she should. Yeah, I was going to say it was mainly about where she could peddle this stuff as well. So it was, you can't really say this kind of stuff on Facebook anymore, and you can't really promote it. So now she hides behind a password on her website. It's still all going on behind there. It's not in the public view anymore.
I was in there for a week, and she booted me after my dick pic comment.
Had a message deleted. Don't know who it's from, for $1. Thank you. Brian Stevens, he says for $2, can I stay with Myles on my honeymoon? I didn't know you're getting married, but congratulations. But if your wife's cool with
Of
it
course
and
you
Myles
can.
cool with it, hey, mazel tov. I don't judge.
Everybody in the live chat is saying Myles come back, so I think you did good work today, sir.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
Brian Stevens, $2. Smash that like button. Let's hit 100. We got 64 likes now, like 30 something before. So get 100.
You're chopping out, Steve. Come back to us.
Oh, we got one more super chat. Brian Stevens, $20. Wow, he must be drunk. I love that. Alcohol's natural. Drink up, buddy. 100 likes, make it happen. Yeah, he actually said he was drunk. So there you go.
Yeah, I think most people would be tonight. This is that weird night. Tonight is the most or the biggest night that bars have. Believe it or not. I saw this last year and I thought this was so interesting. The night before Thanksgiving is always the biggest attended nights that bars have. And I think it's because people go home for Thanksgiving and they don't want to spend a lot of time around the fam, so like, well, we're just going to go out and meet old friends, and everybody gets up and so yeah, if you're drunk, awesome. Well, Myles, we're gonna give you the last word to wrap up any kind of last minute thoughts that you may have. Plug everything where your social media, your channel, where people can find you, get more. And by the way, all of those links, the channel is in the description now, but whatever else that he plugs, I will have in the description, so you can just link it if you're watching this later on tonight or in the future. So take it away, sir.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's bloody late though, so I'm going to go to bed after this. I've got to be up early.
Yes.
So my channel's youtube.com/param1985. I've got a Facebook and a Twitter and all that kind of jazz if you want to stalk me. I don't think I'm that interesting, but hey, if you're into that kind of stuff, more the merrier. And yeah, just come check out my crap. I think it's interesting. I think none of my friends do, but hey ho. Thanks for having me on the show.
Dude, can I go to the pub?
100,000 people find you interesting.
Can we, if I come down to England, can we go have a beer together and hang out at the pub? I want to meet these people that you talk to.
I'm always up for a beer.
Don't do it, Myles.
You're a good man.
You'll regret it. I promise. You'll regret it. Michael just sent a last minute super chat in. Watch Vax TV on YouTube. I'm not sure what that is, but
I've watched Vax the movie, if that's similar, and that is probably one of the most boring movies I've ever seen. Usually with anti-vaccine documentaries, they can be quite interesting and out there, but Vaxxed is just dull.
Oh,
it's an anti-vax thing. Okay. Well, if that is,
I still want to get hold of his first wife on that. Trying to get her is very difficult. But you guys familiar with her, Ken Hoven's first wife or second wife? Sorry, she was an anti-vaxxer.
No, sorry.
Yeah, she was Mary Toko was her name, and she was one of the pioneers in the whole movement for the anti-vaxxing. And if anybody has a way of getting a hold of it, people have talked to her, but I would love to get Mary Toko on to talk about her promotion of anti-vaxxing.
He just married her. What do you mean his ex?
Married her. No, they're divorced again. No, they're already divorced. He's got a third wife now. Can't be married again.
No, he does not. Can't tell.
Yeah, no, seriously.
You player, you.
Yeah, he has. And by the way, he was too crazy for an anti-vaxxer. What does that tell you?
What time is it over there in England?
It's 2:30 in the morning, and I have
you need to go.
I have to be up in 5.5 hours for a job
interview,
so I should probably go.
Well, we are letting Myles go. Thank you so much for staying up, especially that. We don't realize, I don't think, or we take for granted that our friends across the pond have to shift their schedules and stay up. So we really do appreciate your willingness to do that with us. And for you guys, we hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow. And I will see you in the morning. Either I'll be cooking, or maybe I can answer any kind of, if you have any last minute dish you need ideas or need any answers to questions, I can do that. I can break out my former chef self, and then eat a lot, wear the stretch kind of pants tomorrow, sweatpants, or anything with the Velcro that can, give you a little extra inch, and you'll be good. And we'll see you soon.
Non sequitur. Your facts are